Tareq Hadhad has had quite an adventure since he's come to Canada. He and his family have opened a successful chocolate shop, Piece by Chocolate. Their experience inspired a movie of the same name. Their sweet story helped inspire their even sweeter product to become better known here in Canada. Tareq is very busy in all the roles that he holds now, but was kind enough to give us a little bit of his time to talk about his and his family's experiences as newcomers.
My name is Tareq. I'm the CEO and founder of Piece by Chocolate company in Nova Scotia, dedicated to help support causes, to advocate for peace as well. I am a public speaker about the story of our journey from Syria to Lebanon to Canada. At the same time, I am participating in multiple ways in many economic forums and entities right here in Nova Scotia and across the country.
When did you arrive in Canada?
I came to Canada from Syria after our family had to flee the country during the war. And Canada was the only country on the planet that opened the doors for us when all the other countries were really shutting down their borders in the face of immigrants and refugees. And they were not allowing Syrians to really cross their borders at all. So we were lucky that Canada has given our family the chance to rebuild, to reinvent, and to have the absolute opportunity to get our chocolate company up and running again. We had a resettlement opportunity with the community of Antigonish in Nova Scotia back in December of 2015, where I landed first, and then my family followed me within a few weeks. Canada is very well known for the absolute opportunity that it gives newcomers and immigrants to belong. And having a new sense of identity has certainly encouraged our family to be contributors to the economy, but at the same time, never forgetting where we came from. So the culture that we brought to Canada is about taking the best of what we had, mixing it with the best with what this country had to offer, and really celebrating an identity like no other. So in 2020, I got my Canadian citizenship, and our family are all now Canadian citizens.
What challenges did you face as a new immigrant to Canada, and how did you overcome them?
I had to learn a little bit about the language. I did not speak perfect English when I came here, and I still don't, but I'm practicing every single day. 7 years later, I keep reflecting on the fact that whether we could have sat down and said we cannot do anything and kept complaining, or whether we dig down and found solutions. And I think we were able to find solutions by the support of our community and by the support of Canadians from coast to coast to coast. The challenges that our family had to face as well is certainly being transitioned from living in a big city like Damascus to a small town like Antigonish of 5,000 people. And that certainly had its implications, but also it had its opportunity because we had a big family of 5,000 people surrounding us, showering us with love and kindness. There's nothing called the absolute guidance for newcomers because every newcomer has a different experience, has a different story, has a different journey. And we were really lucky to come through much stronger than what we were expecting because as an opportunity has just arose for our family to start the chocolate business, we were able to restart the business, and we were able to access all the opportunities for financing, for finding labor, for rebranding, for distribution. The other challenges were that there is no Syrian community in Antigonish at the moment that we arrived. So our family certainly found that missing on the feeling of really being surrounded by the people that they ate the same food or celebrated the same culture, and also being flexible and adaptable, also given us a new purpose. And I think having that purpose to contribute and give back was a big thing to celebrate.
How did you adjust to the Canadian climate?
Winter has been always a friend to us. We said that winter could be used as a friend. It doesn't have to be the enemy. So we started making connections during the winter. We started celebrating activities like going out for skiing or learning how to skate. I'm still a horrible skater. And, building a community that can really go out and enjoy the opportunities that the winter really can be a place for us to connect. We go hiking is part of the Canadian identity. And you cannot separate being a Canadian from the idea that you have to be able to acclimatize. My family and my friends, they have always told me that there's no bad weather, there's just bad gear. So once you are prepared, I think it's going to be a lot easier.
What do you like about living in Canada?
Canada is an absolutely beautiful country with masterpieces in nature, and the Canadians that they certainly share their heart with everyone who show up at the airport looking for a better life. And I felt like the moment I landed in Canada, I belonged here. Canadians are born everywhere. It just takes them a little bit to get here. That is my favorite quote. I do a lot of peace advocacy. And when I talk about Canada, it's not a secret that this country has certainly contributed to peace building more than any other country on the planet. The other part of Canadian culture is certainly enjoying nature. We live in the second largest country in the world, and there's no limit to really what you can do, where you can travel. You can enjoy sceneries from mountains to lakes to beautiful oceans. You can drive into forests and you can just go hiking. You can go kayaking. You can enjoy summer days at the cottage, raising your feet and swatting the black flies like we do here in Nova Scotia. Watching the northern lights, this is still on my bucket list. I've been almost to everything that is truly Canadian, and I've been screeched in Newfoundland. I have gotten to Vancouver and Victoria, and I enjoyed going to Banff and Jasper in Alberta. I've gone up the CN Tower in Toronto, and certainly looking forward to many more excellent opportunities for me to celebrate really the Canadian bucket lists.
Why do you think it's important to learn about and celebrate each other's culture?
I really enjoy so much the Canadian brand and identity because we are a country of kindness, compassion, respect, empathy, and peace. We open the doors for the dreamers. We are a country of dreamers. And I think we are a country that has infinite possibilities about tomorrow, and the world follows us into them. Every time I go in Halifax or in Toronto, or I walk on boardwalks in Vancouver, and I certainly hear almost 20 languages spoken in an hour around me, I realize that we don't live in one country. We live in the United Nations, represented, symbolized. I advocate always for the power of sharing cultures. I think our differences so many times are being exploited and used against the things that bring us together. I think that's why Canadians understand very well that having multiple and multicultural society is very healthy because it opens our hearts and it opens our mind. Because I travel a lot, I realize always that traveling open our minds, to other people's lives, to how they live, to how they sing, to how they dance, to how they eat. And I think having all of that come to our doorsteps, like my neighbors right here, I have neighbors that all my neighbors, from all the sides, they are all immigrants. They came from different parts of the world, and they all invited me to Canada Day celebrations in different ways. Everyone was doing different types of barbecues or different type of food. They were dancing to their own music and culture. And I think it was really a significant moment in my life when I realized that this is just a small part of what this country really had to offer. And I believe that it had to be something celebrated every single day, because in a time when anxiety and hatred sell very easy, it is very important to sell love and kindness. There are other people who practice different faith. There are different people that they have different skin colors. There are people with different backgrounds. There are people with different goals and dreams than us. And I think that Canada just symbolizes and really understand that very well.
What advice do you have for recent newcomers or people thinking about coming to live in Canada?
I really hope that everyone who will be watching this to reflect on the fact that we came to Canada for a purpose, and that purpose is to not give back and not to take. I think many of us know the value of contribution, and that when we pay it forward, it is better for all of us and it is better for our communities. I encourage everyone who's really listening to our story to also be vocal about their own stories of immigration. Do not shy away from giving a hand to those who need it. I always say that we have a moral responsibility to lift others to success if we are successful. If you are not successful, we're going to seek advice, we're going to seek mentorship. Never take anything as a setback. Being stuck is not a setback. Being stuck is an opportunity to grow. And I believe that many of us, when we come here, we certainly are faced with the choices of, are we going to stay here? Are we going to leave? And I think it comes at a cost. And that cost is the time, is the effort, is the energy. And I think is the sense of sharing the values. Is this country really representing your values? And I think for the most part, for immigrants, when they come here, they certainly want to become Canadians. They apply for Canadian citizenship. And I'm really honored and to share this country with the beautiful 40 million Canadians that they are my family now.
Thank you, Tareq, for sharing your amazing story with us. You and your family have already accomplished so much, including having your chocolates enjoyed by astronauts on the International Space Station. I know there is no limit to where you can take your Canadian dream.